It is Thursday night, time for another edition of Thrifty Business with Jay and Nay. I'm your one host, Vegas Jay.
And I am Fab Philly Nay tonight.
Oh, Fab Philly Nay.
Yes.
Woo, look at that. And tonight we have an extra special guest, the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, I tripped over that. John Lawson, ColderICE himself.
What's up?
What's happening, brother? How are you tonight?
Super fantastic, man. Awesome.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna say nighty-night, Johnny, for a little bit, so you can go watch the Falcons play preseason, which is worthless, and then we'll see you back here in half an hour.
Later.
Bye. How are you tonight, Nay?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good. That's good. Excited to do
That's
our
good.
show tonight.
Me too.
All right, well, let's get right to it, shall
Okay. Yes, we shall.
we? Let's do it. Let's do it. Time for Jay's Tiki Talk, where each week I share a mug with you and the rum. And this week's mug, I always try and pair either the rum or the mug up with our guest. And this week I did that. This is the 75th anniversary mug for Trader Vic's. And one of the only Trader Vic's left in the country, there's a couple, is in Atlanta, where our guest John lives. And it's actually a very good Trader Vic's. It looks good, tastes good, it's awesome. So let me have a little sip of my rum. Now, if you find this mug, it goes for decent money because they only made it for a limited run, and you could probably get like $50 to $60 for this rum, for this mug. And then the rum I'm drinking tonight is called Siesta Key Spiced Rum, and this is given to me by our friend Brenda. So thank you, Brenda.
Very nice of Brenda.
Huh?
I said that was very nice of Brenda.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
And what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking coffee, and this mug is very near and dear to my heart. I don't know if I can show you guys without spilling my coffee.
Yeah, please do not spill your coffee.
Jason
please.
and Stacy gifted me this mug. Last time Jay was in Philly, he brought it to me, and if you can see inside without me spilling, there is a little giraffe that peeks out, and as I drink my coffee, I see more of the giraffe, and it never gets old. Every time I see the giraffe's head come out, I get excited. It's the cutest mug ever. So, thank you, Jay.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, let's get right to it.
And Stacy.
Time for Nay's breast cancer update and fact of the week. And Nay has an announcement.
I do have an announcement.
Oh, I should have had. Wait, hang on. I might have. I can do applause.
Okay.
This is what I was looking for. I have a drum roll. Hang on.
Oh boy.
Okay, go ahead.
So I went to the oncologist yesterday, and I've had some recent tests and scans and ultrasounds and blood work, and all of my blood work, my scans, and my tests show no signs of active cancer in my body, which is very good, and it does mean that I am officially in remission. So that's good news, and I'm cautiously optimistic. I know it sounds great, and it is good, but I'm very cautiously optimistic. My cancer still can come back. I'm not cured. It just means that it's laying low. It's doing what it's supposed to, and it's not active anywhere in my body right now. So that's good news. I did receive some other news. Long story short, it's all related to my cancer and my odds of survival. I will need to have a hysterectomy in the future, and I will need to go on a different long-term cancer drug, which will cause some pain, unfortunately, and some bad side effects, but it's something that I'm battling with, but I will do in the future. And I still have some reconstruction surgeries coming up, so by no means is my battle over, but for now the cancer's laying low. It's not active, and that is a very good thing. So
I just want to reiterate, because people sometimes misconstrue the word in remission. Nay is not cured of cancer,
right.
But it's the first time in a long, long time where she didn't leave the doctor with additional bad news.
Yes.
So that's why I want her to tell it tonight, because usually her updates are, this is going wrong, I'm fighting, but this is going wrong. And, it's not cured, but hey, it's decent news for one. So that's why I want her to share it, because that's pretty awesome. But yeah, so don't make sure you don't realize she's not like poof. I'm
Yeah,
I'm cured.
it's not a magic like wow, no more can, but it's a good thing for now.
It is a
And
very good thing. So I just want
yeah.
everyone to really understand that. So cool.
Thank you, Jay. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Time for our... Oh, shoot, I wasn't on it. I'll do it again. Time for our scores of the week. And I got some fun stuff to share, but I think I'm going to have Nadine kick it off this week.
Okay.
Switch it up a little bit because I usually kick it off. So let's get Nays up there, and then I'll do a little share screen here. And Doc Martens our way.
Okay, yeah. I sold these for $69.99 plus shipping, and they went to California, and they did even with my shipping discount, they cost the full $20 because those things weigh 4 pounds. Those are some heavy shoes. So they weighed 4 pounds with minimal pack, just packing peanuts and whatnot. And off they went to California. Hopefully my buyer's happy. And I think I paid like maybe $6.99 I think at my Goodwill for those. So that was a really good deal. I was happy with that sale.
Cool.
So this is a score. This is the second time I've sold this tablecloth. It came back to me once as a return. So I'm hoping that this stays a score this time. But $24.99 free shipping. I know I paid $1.99 originally for it. It's vintage. So look for those vinyl vintage tablecloths. I mean, it's not a huge return, but that's a good sale for buying something for $2. And I think it did weigh quite a bit. It went at the 2 pound rate, and it couldn't go in the flat rate, but it went local as in my zone. So it still went, it didn't cost much to ship. So.
And when's the last time you saw a modern product with the word applique on it like that?
Oh, yes. And also the eBay bags. Pam gave me some because mine were stolen last time, but the eBay bags that you can get, this fit perfectly inside of one of them. Those
and what you mean is the poly mailers. The
poly mailers, yeah, it fit perfectly inside the poly mailer. So, and this was a new. It was a new without tag. It still had one of the tags on. You can see it on the strap there, so I knew it was new. And it was an Aeropostale bra that I paid $1.99 for. Very quick flip for $19.99, and they did pay shipping on that too. I didn't do free shipping there, so. But that was a good deal. And these, I have to credit my friend Christine, who's in the chat. Christine Lemoyne had sent me some inventory a while ago. So thank you, Christine. This is a special score because Christine sent them to me, so I didn't pay anything for them, and I sold them for. I took an offer. They were originally. I put them up for $19.99. I took an offer from this guy before I went into the hospital. He started messaging me, and he really wanted these, and I was like, "Make me an offer," and then I didn't get the offer. Finally, got an offer for $14. He had originally said $15. I took it. I was happy with that, and they were really easy to ship, first class. So thank you, Christine.
And real quick, people are talking about blurriness. So here's what happened. If you don't know, when I was doing the show with my mom this past Sunday, my brand new Mac died in the middle of the show. And so it's been in the shop all week. I just got it today, but I didn't have a chance to. I got to re-put everything back on it. So I'm on my old computer. It's a little bit slower. That could be causing some of the blurry issues. So just stay with it tonight. I promise you by the next time you see me on any show, I'll be back to my brand new computer. Everything will be rocking and rolling. All right, let's get to my scores.
Okay.
And now this is persistence. I've had this shirt for quite a while. I only paid $3. It is a badass shirt. It is from the U.S. Open in Hawaii, and it was made by Waikiki Casuals. But it was such a cool shirt because that's the logo for the Hawaiian U.S. Open. And but I was waiting for the right buyer, and I sold it for $85 this past week. I've had it for sale on various platforms and at live events. For $100, $150 for over 2 years now. But hey, man, I paid $3. I got $85, and guess what? It went down the street. Sold right here in Henderson, Nevada.
Oh, that is funny. And do you think it was because it was only a size large? Maybe if it was like an extra large or a larger size.
Could be.
That's a cool shirt, though.
And look what one of my scores is, Nay. Simplicity costume.
Wow, I am proud of you. That's great.
Yeah. And, obviously this is the right time of year. I got these up 2 weeks ago, and they sold right away. I've been thinking about writing my customer. I'm like, hey, if you actually do make it this, can I see the Cousin It costume? Because that's got to be badass, man.
That was a great idea to put both of them together, and your price was right on with those. So
And then
I'm proud of you.
I showed this Patagonia hat. I don't know if I showed it on a haul or if I showed it when Vicky and I were thrifting, but I listed it, and I almost kept it because it fit me good. And my wife said, sell it. You got enough hats. So it sold right away, too. So I was very, very happy.
Very good.
Yeah. So I have no complaints over my quick $40 on the Patagonia hat. Oh, dear.
Yeah, that looks like a vintage. It's a vintage Patagonia too, which is awesome.
All right, so you've seen our scores. Now it is time for our duds of the week. Let our mistakes not be yours. Not everything's a winner, and I don't care how long you've been in this game. Some things work out and some things don't. And actually, my duds are duds for very specific reasons. But we're going to do Nay's duds first. So here we go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, so my first one, I just sold this whole set for, my husband had some old PC games that he just, didn't want anymore. And when I first started selling, that was one of the first things I sold. They've been up for that long. I opened my store in 2011. You can see, I even took that picture on the tile floor, which I don't do anymore ever. So yeah, so these were they were up forever. I know, it's so embarrassing, and they finally sold for $19.99 for the lot. I was happy. I was so happy to see them go. It was, and I still have more of these. I still have some more of these PC games that I might just end up donating because it's insane. Like, what's that, like 5 years to sell? That's crazy.
All right, and then I think you said you had a dud in your hand.
I do, yeah. So this was a score that I found at Goodwill for this 99-cent sticker still on there. Netherlands, Starbucks travel mug, and I looked them up. I shouldn't have even looked it up after you'll see in a minute, but I couldn't find any completed, and someone had one up for like $54. I think that was overpriced. I probably would have been able to sell it for like $30, but it's not going anywhere now but the trash, because unfortunately I managed while I was listing to break and crack a plastic mug.
There's my nay.
So it's now a dud.
So now even sippy cups aren't safe around you. What the hell?
Yeah, so you can see. I know. I don't know. And this was as I was photoing it, and I was just about to list it. I dropped the darn thing, and it. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me get to my duds. Now, here's my dud that you might not say is a dud. You're like, oh, you sold it for $55. Yeah, here's the problem. I paid $25, and when I bought it, I didn't notice the damage. So I had it up for quite a while. So when I finally got an offer at $55, I took it, wanted to cut my losses. But here's a little tip. There's damage to the head, so I took these little Post-its that are like little pointy arrows, and I made sure that the customer knew exactly where the damage was. So really, there was no question. And then if you see my item condition, used sculpture has 2 small nicks exposing the metal. See pictures still in box. So that was kind of a bummer. And then this was a weird bummer tonight. I sold this. I bought these at Ross or TJ Maxx or Tommy Bahama towels. I didn't pay all that much, so when I sold them for $39.99, I actually made a decent amount of money. The customer writes me today and goes, I didn't realize it was 1 bath towel and 2 hand towels. And I never usually do this, but I wrote, you do see the title says 1 bath towel and 2 hand towels.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, yes, but I didn't realize it. All right. So now I have to relist it.
Ah, darn.
Yeah. I'm like, and that proves no one reads. The title said exactly what it is.
What did you pay for those, by the way?
Oh, I think I paid for the big towel like $5, and for the smalls like $2.99 each or something like that.
Okay, that's cool.
They were in the clearance section, so I was like, cool.
Awesome.
Oh, damn it! I keep hitting the wrong button tonight. All right, let's try this again. All right, now it is time for. Close Encounters of the Thrifty kind, where we usually tell you about close encounters we had.
Right.
But this week we put out a post on our fan page, Thrifty Business with J and A on Facebook. Check us out if you haven't, please. and we asked for your stories, so we're actually going to read 2 of your stories because they were quite entertaining to us. So I will let you go first, Nate. I'll get mine up.
Okay, so mine is from our friend Lynn Hudziak, and she had this funny story. She said, while I was out shopping on National Thrift Store Day, I had a thrifty encounter. So as she was waiting to check out, she's standing and nothing's moving, and this lady just body slams into her and says, "Oh, excuse me," and then she slammed into a rack that was behind her. So then she turns around to Lynn and she says, "I'm sorry, I wasn't wearing my glasses. I have no idea how close I am to something without wearing my glasses." So this is the funny part. She was holding her glasses in her hand. They weren't on her head. So then she went on to tell Lynn that she got the glasses a week ago, and she's just not used to wearing glasses and doesn't know how she didn't kill herself before she found out that she needed the glasses, and she walked into everything all the time. But the funniest part was she was still holding the glasses and not wearing them. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I fought not getting glasses for a long time, but once I did, I'm so glad I did because I can see better. All right, mine comes with a picture, but I will read you the story first. This one's from Patty Campbell. A while ago, after getting home from vacation at the beach, I was shopping at my local Goodwill when they brought out a new bin and put it right next to me, and I immediately picked up this big wooden 2-scale model airplane, and as soon as I picked it up, this guy made a beeline to the bin and was just standing there hoping I'd put it back, but as soon as I placed it in my cart, there was the loudest cha-ching ever because my cell phone was still set to beach mode, the brightest screen, and the loudest volume. The look on the guy's face was priceless. I felt bad, like I was gloating or something. Here's a pic of the plane, which ended up selling quickly for about $200 and went to Japan. So let me show you the plane. And I know we've all done that. We've been on both ends of that. Mm-hmm. We have hovered hoping for something to be put back, and we've had people hover over us. So there's the airplane. And you know what? I kind of will people to put things back. If I see something cool that someone grabbed, like I remember this one time falling around a couple, and he picked up a shirt. I'm like, oh, I need that shirt to sell. And I saw the wife telling him that, now you're not getting that shirt. So I just followed him around because, look, fellas, if you're married, you ain't winning ever. So I knew at some point he was going to go, all right. And he hung it up. And, man, I was there like a vulture. 3 seconds I had it in my hand. Like, thank you. And it was like a $50 shirt. So if you see a couple fighting over something good, follow them. Let me tell you. Oh my! So
Andrew said his story didn't make the cut, but everybody's story that we read on there was wonderful. We just had to pick. We could only pick 2, but we read and enjoyed everyone's story.
And go read them. There's tons of good ones on there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go on our page and read them. They were all great.
All right, it's time for our thrifty tips of the week, and mine is going to scare the shit out of you.
Out of me?
Well, who's ever watching?
Oh, okay.
You ready?
Okay.
All right, so here's my thrifty tip of the week. What time is it? That's right, it's time to scare the hell out of people.
Oh, yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, thank you. It is Halloween time, so guess what? At most major thrift stores, they're going to have a Halloween section, and what they deem Halloween and costumey is usually good stuff. Now, right now, Savers just has their new stuff out, but in about 2 weeks, they'll have their used stuff. And what can you find in the used Halloween section? Well, you can find muumuus, you can find overalls, you can find full rain slickers, you can find all kinds of stuff. You can find vintage 80s jeans that are worth a lot. So be prepared, and as soon as the used costume section is up in your local thrift store, get on it.
Very, very good tip.
And I've just scared half the audience, so there you go.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy.
And by the way, this did have 2 eyeballs. I broke one off. Sorry, Savers.
God.
That was an accident.
And then you just put it back?
Of course. I spent a lot of money there. I've earned that 1 eyeball.
I know, but you could have brought it up to the register and said, hey, I broke it.
No, I don't want to admit I screwed up.
All right.
All right, you're up.
Okay, so so you are my thrifty tip. If you have something that I was going to list this candle, and if you have a friend or somebody that you know that is interested in a certain type of item that you might sell, I said to Jay, I was like, hey, I've got these Yankee candles I need to list. Are you interested in any of them? So I didn't have to list it. So he was like, yeah, the beach party. I haven't heard of that. He's like, what does it smell like? I'm like, I sniffed it. I'm like, it smells like a beach party. I don't know. It's kind of sweet. It's kind of beachy. It smells good. So he was like, okay, I'll buy it off of you. So so that was, I didn't have to list it. I did take my pictures for it, so I got to use it here. But you know, that's a good deal. So if you have something, if you find something like that, you know, hit up your friends or people that you know who might be interested, and you can possibly sell it to them before you even have to bother listing it.
So David Euling says beach party smells like dead fish.
No, it doesn't. It smells. I wouldn't have.
It's from the Jersey Shore. It's dead fish and.
Well, that's true. Is it from the Jersey
dreams.
Shore? Then yes, it would be. And I'm from Jersey, so.
All right, now it is time for. You have got to be shipping me, where Nay and I show you what to do and what not to do. So let me get Nay's pictures up here. I'll let you go first, Nadine.
Okay. So my shipping tip also has to do with your candle purchase today. Jay said to me, now this is a big, I guess it's a 20-ounce. Jason, is that correct? The big jars?
The big jar.
Yeah. So this is a big jar Yankee candle, and he said just FOMO it to me, and I was like, oh God, I don't know, that's not gonna fit. I don't know if I can. He's like, trust me, you can do it. So. All right, it got FOMO'd. So here's how you FOMO a giant jar candle.
All right, hang on, I'm getting
them.
Because you got 4, I'm getting them all lined up.
Yeah,
here.
So.
All right, so I'm going to do it this way, and then I'm going to do it that way. So start talking.
Yeah.
And then
okay, so first of all, what you need, obviously, is a padded flat rate envelope. And you need I use this, now, Jason had just mentioned he did a little video before our show, and we were talking about these 8x6x4 eBay boxes that you can get. And someone was saying that you can FOMO right in with these. Now, these won't fit if you just make it a box like that. It doesn't. You have to cut it down a little to actually fit in the padded flat rate. But what you can do, and what will fit, and I'm just going to break this right now because I will use it again for the same purpose. So what you can do is easily just flip the side out and then just bend it again and wrap it, like a cylinder, and it will fit like that.
All right, watch the microphone.
Sorry. So it'll fit, you get the idea. So it'll fit like that. So what I did was I wrapped it in bubble first, really tight, good bubble, and then I wrapped it with that box. I took the box apart, wrapped it, taped it really good, and then I put it and you can see in the third photo, I put it in a Target plastic bag so that it would slide in easy. Now I have trouble with my right arm because of my nerve and lymphedema issues from my cancer, so it was hard. For a normal person, I think it would be tough, but for me, it was almost, I really had to sit on it, and it was hard to get it in there. I really had to work it in there, but it eventually did get in there, and it fit perfectly. It was tight, but I sealed it, it went, and hopefully it'll get there in one piece. It should. It was securely wrapped, so.
Now, the good thing about candles, just in case it breaks, I'll put it on a specific candle stand. I'll just burn it without the jar, whatever.
I'll refund you if it breaks.
No. I didn't even pay you yet. I think I wait till I pay you.
Well, yeah, I know, but.
All right, so here's my shipping tip, because even when I teased this earlier, I realized that some people hadn't done it yet. So if you have an eBay store, you get a quarterly coupon for shipping materials. And the quarter expires on September 30th, so we're about a month away. If you don't use it, you lose it. So I wanted to show you real quick how to find it, because eBay's giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars of shipping supplies, so they're not going to make it all that easy. So when you're in your seller hub, and this is only for people who have stores, if you don't have a store, you don't get the bonus. So if you scroll down here, you go to Manage Store, which is right down here. Come on, Manage Store. You can do it. Oh, I didn't expect this to run slow. I don't know if it's eBay. Oh, there we go. And then right here on the left side is subscriber discount. So if you click on that. And then the first thing is eBay shipping supplies. So click on See Details. And there is your coupon. So I'm going to scooch it away there real quick because I still need to do it. So then you click on Start Shopping. And so right here, excuse me, right here is the supplies you can buy. So you can get the different size boxes like Nadine just showed you. You can get the eBay tape. You can get the poly mailers. So that's how you do it. You have until September 30th to use this quarter, and then October 1st is a new one. So make sure you are stocked up for Q4 and you have all the shipping materials that you need.
And one thing, you have to use the coupon code at one time. So if you can't like order one set of boxes and then go back and order some
Right.
tape.
Good
You
point.
lose. You have to order everything. You have to use the whole thing at once.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I always go a little bit over. I mean, always. We've only done this once now, but what I'm buying this time is going to be about $54. So, I mean, you're still buying shipping supplies, so that's, it's not a big deal that you're going
Mm-hmm.
over, but make sure you use the whole thing because there's no point of losing any of it. We all need shipping supplies, so use your coupon and
Yes.
make sure you get the things you need.
Yep, I'm going to be ordering mine soon. I'm excited, and my last batch was stolen, so I'm hoping this one actually gets here and doesn't get stolen. So exciting.
Yeah, let's hope so, because
Let's hope so. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
All right, so let me get this out of the way here, and we'll get to our 2-minute topic of the week.
Yes.
All right, so this is our viewers' 2-minute topic of the week. This week it was submitted by Kimberly McCarran Castellani. Thank you, Kimberly. When you go to a thrift shop, how do you know what is going to make a profit for you? I know research is the key, but what do you do if that item is not listed anywhere? Do you have guidebooks on collecting items? And this is a great question because people ask us all the time, like, how do you know if you can't figure it out? All right, so I'm going to set you off first, and you are Owen.
Okay, so if I always do research, eBay sold, and I use the Amazon scanner now for the items that I can scan, even though I haven't quite ventured into the Amazon waters. It still helps me as a guide for pricing. So I use those on my phone when I'm thrifting. If I see something that's not going to sell, obviously I put it back. But I have a pretty good instinct now of, I kind of have to develop that thrifter's instinct of what's going to do well and what's not. But I do still do my research. Now, if I can't find something that's sold, usually it's a good sign. If I have that instinct, I will pick it up anyway, and I will do more research at home. I don't have any specific guidebooks, but Google is my friend, and I'll dig. Like if I have a piece of pottery, for example, I have a piece of pottery called Bauer, and it's mid-century modern, and I knew just looking at this piece that it was a cool mid-century modern piece. Didn't know anything about Bauer, didn't know anything about the company, but Google is your friend.
You were going strong.
I know.
All right, here we go. Let me reset. Right. My turn. I don't do a lot of research in the field, but when I come across that weird thing I'm not 100% sure on, eBay solds is my first stop. If there's nothing there, then eBay actives. Then I will check Google. I will check WorthPoint. And then when I am so stumped, like I have found things like I don't even know what to look up. You know where you go? The thrifting board. Take a picture, pop it in there. Give the best description that you can. And like I found a game once. It was, I forget what it was, but I didn't know because it was just like the tiles in a box. So it wasn't like a board game. And so I put a quick picture, and right away people were like, oh, that's this game, blah, blah, blah. Then once I knew the name of the game, it was very easy to research it to see if it was a buyer or not, and it wasn't. But secondly, I do have some books at home. Now, you would think Jay doesn't need books for tiki mugs. Well, I still do. There are millions of tiki mugs, just millions. And although I can quickly figure out what something is, sometimes I need very specific, so I do have guidebooks for that. So when I get home, I can get the exact details I need. Boom, there we go.
Yay. And you mentioned the thrifting board, which I left out. That's like most research of all, yes. When you're stumped.
Where's the love? All right, our last segment before we get John in here is our rotating segment. So you see this segment once a month. Time for the good, the red, and the ugly, because we all know ugly sells, so this is worth a lot. Oh,
and your face on that artwork always cracks me up.
Yeah, that's great. All right, what you got?
I have two things, actually. I'm wearing the one. This is it's cool and ugly at the same time. It's a vintage 1980s Ruth Norman for Saks Fifth Avenue dress. And I actually thrifted this while in Vegas 2 years ago, and I just haven't been able to part with it. It fits me, and it's like borderline so ugly it's cool. So I don't know if I'm ever going to sell it or not. 2 years later, I still haven't made that decision, but Yeah, it's just one of those. It's so ugly. It's cool dresses, I think. So that's my first item, and my second item is this piece of artwork that I put a post up in on our Thrifty business page about it, and I had to get it. It was $1.99 at Goodwill, and it had to come home with me because it was so it's I don't know, it's three devil figures and one is stepping on a dog. I don't know what's going on there, but
hold a little closer.
okay.
Come a little closer. There you go. Yeah, hold it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
On your lower third. There you go.
And
yeah,
it is a full, like somebody actually stretched, they did actually professionally stretch the canvas on actual canvas stretchers. This is not even a pre-fabbed canvas. It's actually canvas stretch. So somebody really took time and pride in doing this piece of artwork. And I just don't, it was just so crazy and ugly and horrible that I had to get it. So
all right, so my ugliness, you've probably seen it because I've shared it a couple times to other things, but it's so perfect for today's topic. I had to show it one more time in case you missed my other shows. Yes, this is an ET planter, I think. I'm guessing a plant goes in here, but this is hideous. But what's crazy is he's got this hole in his hand, and Nay thinks it's to hold a flower. So you got the planter in the back and the flower in the front. But yeah, this is about the ugliest thing I found, and I bought it for $2 at Goodwill.
Wow, that was a good deal for $2. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, cool. That's our segments. Oh, before we get John here, a little housekeeping real quick. We're going to be off next week, so no Thrifty Biz with Jay and Nay for a couple reasons. If you can see down here, where's my finger? That says Coldplay. I have Coldplay next Thursday.
Jealous.
And so I'll be there. And then also next week, my in-laws come in for a week. I love them dearly, but it is like herding slow cats, so it's a lot of work. So, and the holiday. My wife's yelling at me from behind, but it is Labor Day. So, yeah, everyone enjoy enjoy your holiday, enjoy your 3-day weekend, get your kids off to school after that, and then we'll be back. And I got a fun guest lined up for the week after, I'm pretty sure. I
didn't know that.
I know. I'm just going to tease it. It is a child of one of our former guests.
Okay.
All right. So no show next week, but come back the week after. All right, let's get our guest in here who's already jumped in.
Yes.
Hello, it is John Lawson, ColderICE, the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, I used the old artwork. My bad. I'm so sorry, John.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I just realized I used the old artwork. Crap, she fixed it and everything. My bad.
I did fix it.
Thank you.
So, yeah. and then I dropped the ball. Hey, John Lawson, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
We are great. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You have you've been at the top of our list of like one of the top 5 people we wanted, and you finally said yes.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yes, it's very exciting to have you on. Thank you.
It's so crazy.
All right, so look, I'm just going to start it here because you, like the rest of us, just started as a normal seller, correct?
Yeah, I mean, probably less than normal.
Well, yes, we know you're abnormal, that's for sure.
You know, I mean, but the thing is, I was going broke and about to go bankrupt, and that's how I got started.
And what was the first thing you were selling?
I started selling used books out of my house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, so it's like my job that I was working at used to give us like these. They gave us a annual allowance for you to buy books because I was in the IT field. So I'd buy all those books that teach you how to code and stuff. And then, you know, once you learn how to do JavaScript or something like that, you don't really use the book that much anymore. So I was like, okay, I could sell these and start flipping them. And that was kind of the first thing that I started selling on eBay.
Cool. So you started out on eBay.
Oh yeah, totally on eBay. This is 2001. There was there was no other option.
Right.
Well, I guess Craigslist was around, but that wasn't really, there wasn't a business model that I knew about there.
Right, back in the day, yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So I don't know if this is a good place for it or if you want to tell it, and you don't have to, you don't want to, but somebody in the chat asked to tell about the concert ticket story.
The concert. Oh, okay. So yeah, the first thing I ever sold on eBay was some concert tickets because I purchased some tickets to go see Elton John, and this was Elton in New York City, and this is early. No, it was about mid '90s, and if you guys remember, Elton wasn't around from like late '80s until early '90s. He kind of disappeared, and people were like, "Well, whatever happened to Elton John?" Well, he was getting off the crack, not the crack, but he was getting off of this drugs, And so this was like his big coming back concert, and he had it. It was an HBO special. I remember that, and it was in Madison Square Garden, and I had gotten the tickets. And before, it was like this. Do you remember those book and tape clubs?
Oh, yeah.
You remember those, right? So I was part of the BMG Music Club, and they had put out a thing and said, hey, we're going to do a pre-sale for Elton. And I was like, oh, I got to go. And so I bought the tickets, but I didn't ask my boss if I could get off. And we had a big, big changeover coming that exact weekend, and nobody was allowed to be off. And so I had to sell the tickets, and I didn't know what to do. And somebody's like, well, you could sell them on eBay. And I was like, really? You can sell tickets on eBay? Because I was like, I thought everybody just sold used socks and stuff over there. I didn't,
That's funny.
So they're like, yeah, go for it, man. And I put them on eBay, and I didn't know anything about eBay. And so I put these Elton John tickets that I paid $150 for. That was the price of them. I'm sure you can't even get one of those tickets you're going to, right? Wow. You can't get one ticket for who are you going to see? Coldplay for $150 probably.
Oh no, I spent a lot of money on good seats.
Exactly. So, but I mean, I got a pair of tickets, $150. That seemed like a lot back then. And so I was like, okay, I'll put them on eBay, and if I could just get $100 back, I'd feel good. So I didn't understand the process, so I put them on eBay at $99. Not smart, It was an auction, $99. I don't even think they had buy it now then.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, and so I put them at $90. So for 7 days, for 5 of the days, nobody bid on them at all. I was crushed. On the 6th day, somebody bid my $99. It was fantastic. I'm like, okay, at least I won't lose all my money. And then on the 7th day around lunchtime, somebody else bid. So that took it up to like 105 or something, 104, I think, And then a couple of more people bid. Maybe it got to about $120, up until about 5 minutes before that thing was about to end. And then my computer, because that was back then, it was just your computer that would bing. If you're watching it, you're pressing the F5 button, F5, F5, and it just kept going up and kept going up and kept going up. And I ended up selling those tickets for, what was it, $850?
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so, I mean, immediately after that, bro, I started looking around my house, started calling people up I don't know, and went over to their house looking for stuff to sell. It's like, dude, I was hooked immediately.
So I have a question for you. Can you tell us about ColderICE Media and how you got that awesome name, ColderICE?
Man,
I know the background story. So
full of stories today, right?
Yeah.
It's story time, which I'm lost.
Story time with John. Uncle John. Well, I mean, ColderICE comes from the fact that I wanted to, have some sort of presence online, and I was looking out and trying to find my name. So I did a search for John Lawson, .com, and there was no way I was going to get it. There was already somebody on it, and I just felt like that name, when I put it in, I think at the time there was like 3 million results. And I was like, man, I'm never going to get to the top of John Lawson with 3 million results. That's just a long way to go. So I couldn't get the URL anyway. I had to come up with something else. And I played around with a lot of names. And then an old story came to mind. And it was a story about, segregation. And back in the days of the Jim Crow era and segregation, people don't really think about this. But you figure it like this. If you have a whole community of black people that was not able to actually integrate into the workings, the business workings of the rest of the community. They had to have their own community. So there was a black business for every white business. There were black hotels, there were black cab drivers, there was black bus companies, there's black everything, right? Because you couldn't go to the white one, so you had the black one. And everything was very separate. And so there were a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs and all that kind of stuff, a very vibrant business community. And literally, like, as soon as integration came and Jim Crow was put away, the thing that everybody thought they could never go to, like downtown to shop, all of a sudden they went downtown to shop. And so black store owners would look out their windows and watch people just walking by. And they came up with they said, I guess the white man's ice must be colder. And that's where I got ColderICE from, Awesome. And it was, And actually at the time, I didn't think anybody would listen to me. So I never put my...
So what year was this that you came up with that? When you said
that was
ColderICE?
It would be 2008.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's cool. I like the history behind it, though. It's meaningful. So
it's meaningful. It has meaning.
Yes.
I got to keep it. Now I got to keep it.
I like it.
It's a good one.
We just had some crazy echo. So
I know.
That was weird.
You got echo? Is that me?
I think it's gone now. It was just like...
I don't hear it now.
Let me tell you, technology has not been my friend this week. Everything has took a shit on me this week, and I'm tired of it. And that's it. I'm going to take a baseball. Michael Douglas falling down. I'm going to start breaking shit. God dang it.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. The motherboard on my new Mac, my 3-month-old Mac, just died.
Really?
I had to replace it, and then I lost everything because, of course, I wasn't backing up a 3-month-old Mac. I'm like, that ain't going to go anywhere. Yeah, wrong. So here's a lesson, kids. Back up your shit.
Immediately.
But let me throw a shout out to Apple. I said, look, I know it's my bad. I should have had a backup, but can you do anything for me? Can you throw me a bone? And the girl was like, what do you mean, like give you something? I'm like, yeah, because a 3-month-old, multi-$1,000 computer should not crap out this quick. And so she's like, look at my manager, and he's like, how about a backup hard drive? I'll give you one. I'm like, okay, thanks. So they fixed it. They took care of me. And so thank you, Apple. I'm back in business.
Well, good for you, man. I would show you something, but it would probably make you jealous.
Oh, let's do it. Make us jealous.
I'll try. Let me see if I can pick it up. But,
is it a Spice Girls thing?
Can you see that?
That's Spice Girls.
Was it a hard drive backup? What is it?
Can you see that? That's one. That's two. That's three.
Was that 3 backup drives?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a free one today, so I got it.
You gotta have them, man. You gotta.
I have a couple on my desk here. Now, do I actually use them to back up as frequently as I need to? No.
Every day, people.
I know. I need to set it. I need to set it to automatically back up every day.
Cool.
Okay.
What else?
Well, let's see. So you can tell us about your travels to 5 continents, and you've toured more than a dozen countries to speak, and you've addressed tens of thousands of business leaders and entrepreneurs. That's pretty amazing and impressive. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, actually I can, and I can do this because, it's really a story, people, about, being able to visualize where you want to be. And the clearer you are about where you want to be, the more likely, let me say that, more likely that you are to get where you want to be. However, 90% of the times it doesn't happen in the time frame that you think it's going to happen. It could be faster, it could be slower, but it's really rarely ever on time. But the thing is that I always felt, I remember when I was a kid, man, I used to play this game, and I can't remember, I don't know what the name of the game was, but I remember it had a game board, and your job was to visit all the countries, and you had a passport, and you would get like the sticker or something, and you put it in the passport, and that was how you win the game. And ever since then, I always wanted to travel a lot and have that passport. That was my thing, And so I always wanted to speak internationally and be on stage. That was just my thing. I wanted it. And one day I was helping a group. There was an old group called the PISA, which is Professional eBay Sellers Association. It doesn't exist anymore, at least not in this country. And they were putting on a show. They would put it in a different city every year. And a friend of ours, and those of you might know him, Brandon Dubsky, he's been around in e-commerce forever. He was the director of putting the show together. And so they were asking, where should they put the show next year? And I was like, do it in Atlanta. Do it in Atlanta. Because I could be your guy in Atlanta. And he was like, and so they ended up picking Atlanta. And so I was like, well, I'll help you guys out. You need to find a hotel. I'll give you some options, blah, 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 blah. And so, I really helped them organize. I was the local guy on the ground. And so when it came to putting the show together, I was really hoping they would put me on stage. I was just like, oh, my God, you guys, you got to let me teach a class at least, right? So he calls me up. He says, hey, man, we really appreciate you, and we really like to put you on, and would you be interested in being the host of a panel?
Very cool.
I was like,
trombones played. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, it totally did in my head, bro. It so did, right? So it was like, okay, yeah, sure. What are you going to say? No? What are you going to do? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So at any rate, I got a wild hair, and what I ended up doing was I made like maybe 5 to 7 slides. And so I get up and I'm like, hey, everybody, welcome. Here's our guest, and we're going to get to them in just a second, but I got these slides on. And I could see Brandon and the other director at the back of the room going like, the hell is he doing? Right? So I started teaching, and in the audience was a gentleman, one of my good friends in the audience from Australia, right? And he and his partner, who is Phil, were there, but Phil wasn't in the audience. So he ran out and got Phil and said, dude, you need to come hear this guy. He's speaking, he's great, you need to come hear him. So Phil comes in the room, that was Sean that went to get Phil. And then Phil heard me, and literally after I got off the stage, he's like, you're coming to Australia. And I'm like, really?
Awesome.
He's like, I want you to do a keynote in Australia. I was like, dude, seriously? Right? And so but you know what? I thought he was full of shit, honestly. I was like, yeah, whatever. But literally 5 months later, Phil calls me up and asked me to do it. And that really was the beginning of it, because I had never really been outside of the country. It was an experience. I was afraid a little bit. But so I got there and I did my keynote, and then Phil afterwards, because it was, time to chill out, and we're having drinks and, just winding down after the show. And him and Sean sat me down and just was like, dude, you got something. You should really pursue this speaking thing, and if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. And literally those guys have been mentors for me for years, and now there's a good time to give them, he gave me, I want to give back. So Phil is doing a show here in the U.S., and this is his first big show coming up in September next month for Retail Global. So look that up, guys, retailglobal.com, and you can go over there, and it's going to be a major, major show. Jason's in the house, and all just, it's ridiculous, all the people that's going to be there, so you can hang out with myself and Jason and all the other people that are going to be on this ticket. I mean, everybody who's you probably have heard of. Who cares? It's everybody. Just come. All right? But there's $100 off if you use my last name, Lawson, 100. You get $100 off that ticket. So go and check out Retail Global, and that's my plug for the day.
Very cool.
All right, hey, I'm gonna pause you for a second. Let me mute you for a second.
Uh-oh. You're getting muted.
All right, let's try it now. No, that's weird. John, you got a headset by any chance?
Oh, is it me?
Could be.
It could be. I forget. I do that sometimes.
You got a headset handy?
Yeah, let's see. A headset
All
handy.
right, so while you're looking for that, I'm going to mute you and try that. Hello? All right, yes, it is
Yeah,
definitely you,
it's
John. So
yeah.
while you're finding a headset, let me tell you a little story. Because I have the similar story. So just like John, eBay Radio was having their party here in Vegas. I wanted to be on stage because I wanted to do a specific thing and teach people about tiki mugs because I thought if I can teach a couple hundred other people to look for mugs for me, then I could have this leg up on other tiki collectors. They said no, but I said I'll still help you out. So I accepted all their packages. I did a lot of runs to the airport, and I can still convince them to put me on not just for tiki, but back when I was with Brian, we got on, we gave our first thrifting speech, and so it was the first time. And I'm always been the center of attention. I've always been a performer, but it was the first time on stage talking about something that others could learn from. And basically what John just said, it was the same way. Like I kind of put it out there, and it worked. But I will say that John was number 3 in the people who I saw on stage that changed my life a little bit. So back when I was just an eBay seller, I went to what's called eBay University. It doesn't exist anymore. It was here in Vegas, and Griff, if you know who Griff is, he's been with eBay since the beginning. He's employee number 6. He was on stage teaching this class. And I went from kind of like a casual seller to like, man, I could do this. I could up this. And so that was the first time it kind of changed me. And then I'm chugging along, I'm doing good, and I'm at eBay Live in Chicago, and I don't know anybody. And I know it's going to shock people, but I'm shy when it comes to, I didn't know anybody.
Shocking, hurry.
I know, isn't that nuts? But I didn't talk to anybody at eBay at Chicago eBay Live, and it was 10,000 people. And I didn't talk to nobody, but I went to all these classes, and Lynn Drowley, the Queen of Auctions, was on stage, and she talked about doing it with her grandmother, and I spent a lot of time antiquing with my grandmother. And so, again, I kind of have this switch where, like, she was killing it. She was doing more stuff than I was doing. I'm like, I got to do more stuff. So at this point now, let's jump ahead to, like, a couple years ago. So I'm killing it. I'm starting to lead people and do things. And I think I do pretty good on stage. And then I see John Lawson speak, and that's the third person who kind of changed my thing because I think I'm a good speaker. I think I do well on the show. I think I do well on stage. But John Lawson takes it to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've seen John give this one speech 4 times, and I enjoyed it all 4 times because I can see where he controls the energy of the room. And I'm like, okay, the first time I just enjoyed the speech for the speech. The second time I started to dissect the speech and watch his mannerisms, how he spoke, what he did. So again, it was that third person who kind of turned me and propelled me a little bit further.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so I can take right off of that to my next question.
Cool.
So, John, actually, you inspired me as well. You probably don't know this, but 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago at eBay Radio. That was before I had formally met you. You know, we met at the SCO event in Philly later on, and but your speech that day. Now, Jason also spoke. He was awesome. There were some other speakers that weren't as awesome. You and Jason really, I mean, honestly, you and Jason, I mean, to be honest, but you and Jason really stood out, and your speech actually made me feel motivated to the core, like, wow, I can do this. This is something I can actually do. And
Wow.
now that I'm at the point where I've lost my full-time job, I'm fighting an illness, and I need to make this my full-time business, I go back in my, I still think about your speech back then, and it still motivates me on those days when I'm thinking, I can't do this, I've had issues with depression, I've had medical issues, I've got physical issues with my arm and everything, and I think I can't do this. And then I think back to the to how motivating you were and you've been to me, and I think, you know what, if he can do it, I can do this. I can really do this. This is something I can do. So I want to ask you, where does all of this self-motivation come from, and how do you have this gift to help business owners to become self-motivated and be on the road to their personal and financial independence? Because it's awesome. It's just you have this energy that you bring.
That's a good question. Wow. That's a deep question.
It's deep, yeah. See,
Yeah.
you didn't even know that.
We're going deep.
You didn't even know how much you inspired me.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? And your story inspires me, so it's very
Thank you.
reciprocal.
Thank
It's
you.
reciprocal, totally.
Thank you. Thank you. That's nice.
So I just think in general, for me, I'm the kind of guy, just I don't know, just naturally, I just have this weird outlook on things. Nothing gets me to the point where, I'm just down. I just can't do it. I can't, and so I guess that is something I'm really just lucky to have. But at the same time, I think I also have a skill to be able to, I don't know if it's a skill because I don't know if you can learn it, but there's a knack that I have to be able to push it out to other people. But I remember a mentor of mine, he was a minister. He is a minister, and I used to ask him, how are you doing? And if anybody asks me, they always hear me say, I'm super fantastic. And that was always his response. And he said, because no matter what the day brings, I got up this morning, and no matter where I'm at, I can be in a better place just by being in a better mood, right? Just by changing the way I feel. No matter what, I'm super fantastic. And literally, if you say that enough, when people ask you, how are you? Then you are that, because words are powerful. Words are very, very powerful. So how do I motivate other people? I motivate them with words, and it's really just the words for them that speak to them. It's resonation. It's an echo. Everybody doesn't like me. My manner, the way I do things, the way I might speak, doesn't resonate with everybody. And if it did, it would be horrible. Nobody likes lukewarm anything. I'm drinking coffee. It needs to be hot. If I want a refreshing drink, I want it to be cold. Nobody wants lukewarm. Lukewarm people annoy the hell out of me, right? So everybody, and I see people try to do this that are trying to be motivators, or they're trying to be on stage and teaching, and it's like, well, I don't want to offend nobody. Well, if you're not offending anybody, you're probably not motivating anybody either, because sometimes you've got to have some sense of make people make choices. Either they're going to choose what you're saying, or they're going to go against what you're saying, and either one of those things is actually motivating them.
Yeah, you tell it like it is. You don't hold back, and I love that about you. So
I know it's a problem. I know.
It's a good thing, though. I mean, you're honest, and it sometimes it gives people the kick in the pants that they really need, I think.
Oh man, it's so organic. It's totally organic.
And I'll say, and I don't know if he'll admit this, but I think it's really because of you and I, John. If you don't know who Cliff Enico is, Cliff has been running in the eBay circles forever, and Cliff's a lawyer and an accountant, and he talks about the boring end of what we do, but you must know these things. You need to know what to do to protect yourself as a business, how to take care of your taxes, and the first time you hear Cliff, you need to hear it, and so, but it's very dry. It's very much Bueller, but you need to know the information.
That was years ago, right?
Yes.
Like 3 years ago.
So time 2 and time 3, when you see him at an event, you're like, so at Ecom Chicago last year, which we're all speaking at this year, all 3 of us.
Yes.
I walked out of the room when Cliff started, not because I don't love Cliff, because Cliff and I have sat and had cocktails. I love Cliff as a person, but I heard his speech and it's boring. As I left the room, I heard Cliff swear. I had never heard Cliff swear.
Never.
And John and I are a little blue on stage, a little rough, because what John said is you want to make people sit up and pay attention. And Cliff, I don't know if he'll admit this, but man, he changed.
No, he did.
Now I so want to watch every boring speech about law and tax ever, because he is very entertaining now.
He's a freaking comedian. You know what? And the thing was, he did tell me. He said, I looked at the schedule because he was right behind me. And I was doing the Beyonce. And he's like, I got to follow up John Lawson and the Beyonce principle. And he just went for it, man. And ever since, I've seen him 2 or 3 other times speak since then. And now his stage presence is awesome. It's amazing.
I think he dropped the F-bomb in Chicago, which I have never done from stage. And that caught me so off guard. I was like, what did you do with Cliff? Bring him back? That's not the Cliff I know.
That was weird, man. And he's just killing it now. He's everywhere.
Now, since I brought it up, the 3 of us are speaking at Ecom Chicago. That is in Chicago. Hey, shocker, Ecom Chicago is in Chicago.
Is it in Chicago this year?
Yeah, this year it's going to be in Chicago. Probably next year too, but I'm not sure yet. But it's October 22nd. I don't know what John's doing, but Nay and I are going to do our first live Thrifty Business with Jay and Nay from a stage. And since we're talking about motivating people to get on stage. This is Nay's first on stage in front of a large audience. So I look forward to watching Baby Bird fly. I'm going to push her out the nest and see what happens, John.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Thank you. I'm excited about it, and I was always, before pre-cancer, pre-JNA, pre-all, I was always very quiet and very, I would never have thought about speaking out about, my cause, speaking in front of people, doing a show, speaking on stage, like that was never. But now I'm okay with this. I'm excited about it. I'm really excited. So.
Wow, y'all doing it live.
Yeah.
Yes.
So hang on now.
Okay.
One thing, and then I'll let you ask John a question.
Okay. All right.
John, you said, you set out to do this. You wanted to be a speaker. You wanted to help people. I had a thought many years ago, and it's pretty much come to the way I thought it would be. I wanted to speak. I wanted to motivate, but I wanted to be the Dean Martin of the e-commerce world. I wanted to be the fun guy that always had the cocktail, that was throwing the party, and Dino was cool. And, I positioned myself exactly that way because I thought about it. I watched other people who could do it, and, get up there and do it, and I wanted to be that. So teaching's one thing, but I love the party afterwards, and I bring the party everywhere I go. But because I thought about it and I planned it for that way, it worked out. And if you want to do something, like John just said, you got to get out there and do it, and just grab for it. John tried it when Pisa came to Atlanta. I tried when eBay Radio came to Vegas, and it worked out, didn't it, John?
It works out, and I mean the best thing is to just be yourself. If you're trying to be a character, it just doesn't come across. That's the biggest key when I'm dealing with other speakers, and I'm telling them, like, look, just be you, and talk to one person. If you do those two things, it'll resonate. Somebody's going to say, yeah, you're talking to me. I'm like, yeah, I was, because I was only talking to one person.
That is great advice, and I think that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to be myself, and that's what I've been doing all along. I put everything out there raw, and about my cancer, about my my struggles with depression, everything. I put it out there raw, not to get sympathy, but because that's me, and I'm putting it all out there. Like it's just I'm trying to help others. I'm trying to inspire others, and it's not easy to just put it all out there on the table, but hey, that's me, and it's real. You have to put honesty out there. So
it is. I mean, and people can tell when you're bullshitting. People can tell. It's always easy. It's just something about the way we are as human beings and the way we interact with one another. We can usually tell when people are full of crap.
That's true.
And lying, too, because you got to remember your lies if you're going to be a liar. And then every once in a while you say something like, that's not what you said 3 months ago.
I know.
It's just so much easier to be out there and be truthful. And what's great is since they want us to do a live Thrifty business, having a rum cocktail is part of the show. So I will make a cocktail on stage. I will actually give a demonstration how to make a proper cocktail. So
will you make me a cocktail on stage too?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Besides teaching about thrifting, I'll teach about cocktails because that's what I want to do.
For everybody.
All right, what you got for John there, Nate? We'll start to wrap this up.
There's a couple. I have like 2 more questions.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
The last one's a wrap-up question. But so you're an author too, and can you tell us about your best-selling digital marketing book on Amazon, which is called Kick-Ass Social Commerce for E-preneurs? And I also noticed that you give a free sample on your website. And can you tell us what's involved in the free sample and what everyone would get in the full version? Because it looks like an awesome book, and I have not personally read it, but I want to now. So
Kick-Ass Social Commerce is really about. I wrote that in 2014, and I knew the writing process when you do it because it was not self-published. Next time I will self-publish. I'm holding my hand up and I'll say I will self-publish. You know what I mean? I will never do that thing that I did the first time the way I did it again. But the process when you go through writing traditional publishing, it literally can take a year or more, and it took us almost a year to do that or to get it released. So when I wrote it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to make this so that it would resonate way beyond where I'm at today. And that's the one thing I did. So I spoke to principles and not platforms. You know, so when it came out, Instagram was just getting started. Look where it is today. There was no such thing as Snapchat. So in the book, it is the principles of how to utilize social media for commerce. It's like, I don't care if you like me, I don't care if you follow me, I need you to buy something. And it's a principle of how to get a tribe behind you or in front of you, because their tribe could already be out there. So how do you find that tribe of people that will purchase from you, or how do you build and commingle those people together that will follow you and actually purchase your products? So it's about doing it the right way with social media. Pressing the share button on an eBay listing to go out to Pinterest, to Facebook, and to Twitter over and over again will not get you more sales.
Right.
It rarely ever will get you more sales.
You have to engage your
you
audience.
Gotta engage.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
But you got to engage with a purpose, because I know a lot of people spend a lot of times, they call it on the network, social networking, but they're really just not working. So I know a lot of people that are social not working.
Oh, you talking about me? What?
So,
I didn't know you're still in the room.
So my last question, Jason's bringing up your website there, and that ties in perfect. How can we find you and follow you and register for your upcoming events? Can you tell us where you are, all of your, give a shout out to your website and social media and whatnot. So
just, johnlawson.com is the website, but if you really want to find me, just Google me in Google with ColderICE, ColderICE, one word, no spaces, and you'll find me. I'm ColderICE on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google Plus, if anybody still uses that thing before they shut it down. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, that's going bye-bye.
That's pretty much, it's almost done. But yeah, so ColderICE, you'll find me anywhere. And also, we got the e-commerce group on Facebook, so you can check that out. I hang out there a lot. But I'm always pretty much somewhere, posting something crazy.
All right, so last thing I want to talk about is our midlife crisis.
Oh!
Because you just bought yours today. Let me share that real quick. What you got there, John? A nice little pretty little whip?
I got a little whip, man. I finally got me something that's fast again. Haven't had that since, before I was married, So now I finally got a little bit of something. I just bought it yesterday. I'm so happy. Here's the key. Yay,
You just have to have the key at your desk?
Yeah, I'm sleeping with it right now.
Very cool.
That is a real midlife crisis. You're sleeping with your key.
But, I put that up there. Wow, God, dog, 234 things. I think that's second. It's second only to my wedding anniversary. When I got married, there were more people, but that was a lot. So, the thing is, you do, at some level, I think all of us come to the realization, once your children start growing up, and, mine just went off to college, you start realizing it's like, whoa, I'm probably about halfway through my adult life, on average. The thing is that I've got more adult life to live than I've already lived so far. And it's about really just how do you want to live the rest of that life, and what's important to you. What are some of the things that you thought you would be able to do that you haven't been able to do, but now you're grown and you know what the hell you're doing and you got money? How are you going to play it? And that's been a big eye-opener for me. It's changed my life, and I changed my life very dramatically a couple of years ago when I got serious about my own health, and I think this is pretty much an outcome of that. It's like I've worked really hard for the last 3 to 5 years. Me and my partner and me and my spouse now. I can do that. We're actually spouses.
It's legal.
It's legal. And so at some level you do want to just buy something that you just wanted, and that was something I just wanted. I saw it. I wasn't even going looking for cars. I knew I needed a car, but I happened to take my other car, which is an electric car, and I had to go over to Nissan, and I was charging it, and I looked over and I saw that. I was like, I want to go drive that, and that's all it took. So, yay, I got another car.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, and you and I are kind of the same path because
I know.
my midlife crisis doesn't come out for another month or so, but here's the picture of it.
Oh my.
And, I'll tell you a quick story. We'll wrap it up on this. I was at a gas pump about 3.5, 4 years ago, and I currently drive a Nissan Armada Platinum. And I'm not a big fan of just conversations with strangers just to have them, but I'm pumping gas and a guy goes, "Ooh, nice truck, nice SUV." I go, "Well, thanks."
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "What do you do for a living?" I'm like, "That's a weird conversation." I go, "I sell on eBay." He goes, "What else?" I go, "That's it."
That's it.
And he goes, "eBay bought that car?" I go, "Yeah, uh-huh." And he goes, "Oh, wow, I was probably looking to sell it on eBay." Now, I actually got a sweet deal on that Armada because it was the boss's, he used that one for a couple months. So it was still brand new, but it had a couple miles on it. I got a sweet deal. So what it's worth today as a trade-in, and the money I've been socking away for my new ride will solely be bought on my eBay business and my teaching business and whatever else I do, but it's all part of, that e-commerce. But, I set out to build my dream, and I did. And now I'm going to drive me a big old pickup truck because that's what I've been dying to get. And when they redesigned the Ford Raptor, I'm like, I am so in for that truck. And my wife said, "What do we need an off-roading truck for? We never go off-road." And I go, "Right, because we don't have an off-roading truck. We live in Vegas. There's tons of trails. Let's go off-roading."
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, so.
Out there in the desert.
That's right. So if you come out to Vegas, once I get my new whip, I'll take you out for a ride in the desert where they drop off the dead hookers.
Okay.
And with that, ladies and
ending
gentlemen,
on that note.
It's Vegas.
Oh
That's
my.
part of life out here, and I ain't kidding you.
That just
All
took
right,
the show just took a turn that I didn't expect there.
oh my gosh.
Just being me. Just being me, John. Isn't that what you said? Just being
That's
me.
right. Put it out there. Let's see what the universe does with that, right?
Oh no.
Hey, you picked me for a partner. What can I say?
Why?
Nay.
All right, so real quick, John, the next event John's got is the Retail Global here in Vegas in September. You can get a discount for it using his name. I am not speaking. I hope to be speaking sometime soon there. So I'll be hanging out with the gang that puts it on. But if nothing else, I'll be hanging around. And, of course, we'll be having parties because that's what I do. And then John, Nadine, myself, Chris Green, and many others will be at Ecom Chicago October 21st and 22nd. And Nadine and I are doing a class on the 20th. People asked about it in the chat. I'm going to put it up this weekend. We only have 10 spots. So do not hesitate. The second you see it up, if you want a spot to go thrifting with us and to learn firsthand, touching, tactile in the store, do it. Because we got one day to do a class, and then we're off to the event. So I look forward to seeing John twice in the next 2 months. We see each other a lot, John. It's like we're almost dating.
I know. I just saw you a couple of weeks ago.
I know. It was crazy.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Chicago. That'll be very exciting. Yay.
Everybody.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for being our guest tonight, Nadine. As always, thank you for being my co-host.
Oh, thank you for being mine.
We had a great audience tonight. We had about 200 at one point. So, John, you brought the audience. Thank you, brother.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, and we might be doing a thrifting haul sometime.
Yes, I will jam a thrifting haul in before 2 weeks. So probably look for it early next week. But because of Coldplay and slow in-laws, next week we're taking off. So enjoy your holiday. Give thanks for living in a kick-ass country. And then we'll be back. We'll be back at school time. It's back to school. It's back to fall programming. And J&A is just getting going with season 3, baby.
That's right.
Have a good night, everybody. Thrift on, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.